Hello, thank you for attending today and welcome to the California ReLeaf 2026 California Arbor Week Small Grant Program Informational Webinar. We're glad that you're watching this webinar today and hope that it can shed light on your grant application, which is going to be due pretty quickly here. So let's go ahead and jump right in. I'm Victoria Vasquez. I'm the Grants and Public Policy Manager here at California ReLeaf. I've been here since 2022, and so I've been working on this grant yearly since then, and I'm really looking forward to helping you through it again this year. We also have with us today Alex Bink, who is our Network Tree Inventory Program Manager. Hello, Alex. Thank you so much. All right, so let's do a little bit of housekeeping before we get started here. Today's webinar will be recorded and made available on our website as well as emailed to all registrants. We'll have a Q&A session at the end with time to ask questions via the chat or the raise your hand feature on the Zoom toolbar. And this is what we're going to be discussing today. We're going to talk a little bit about California ReLeaf, who we are, what our Arbor Week traditions are, talk about the grant and what you can and cannot do, what the timeline looks like, how the payments work, some resources for you and technical assistance, and then ask some more questions. So let's get started talking a little bit about California ReLeaf. So if you're unfamiliar with Cal ReLeaf, we're a statewide nonprofit that's dedicated to supporting grassroots efforts and building strategic partnerships that protect, enhance, and grow California's urban and community forests. Our four main program areas help us to fulfill our mission. Those are education, advocacy, grants, and the ReLeaf Network. We're going to specifically talk about grants today, but if you'd like to learn more about the rest of our programs, please get onto our website and check it out. This slide is from last year, but we have a new program that's up and running now, which is the Network Tree Inventory Program. And I'm going to turn it over to Alex Bink to discuss a bit more about it.
Great. Yeah, I just put a link in the chat to the network if you want to learn more about that. But to talk about the inventory program, what that is basically an app that we have a grant to subscribe to. It's an app that's used professionally by arborists to track information about the trees that they are caring for. So if your organization does any kind of tree related care, planting, maintenance, whatever, even just admiring trees, we'd love for you to, if you're recording information on those trees, and you're a member of the network, then you can put that into Tree Plotter, which is a really great, easy to use graphical system for tracking all those things. So instead of having to mess around with spreadsheets or whatever, you can have it on the map, you can have pictures, all these things. So if you're interested in that, highly recommend checking out our webpage on that program, which I will put here in the chat as well. If you are not a member and you'd like to become one, it's very easy, and then we can get you set up in our inventory, especially if you're going to be planting trees as part of this grant. It's really helpful. So yeah, I'll pass it back to Victoria.
Wonderful. Thank you so much, Alex. All right, and as mentioned before, there's a link there that Alex has put in the chat about our ReLeaf Network. We're over 85 groups and nonprofits working across California. So we are a 501c3. We are a nonprofit, even though we deal in federal, state, and private grants. And it's all the way across the state. So anyone in an urban area, this is urban forestry, not rural forestry or just forestry, can join our network. And we encourage you to do so. So if you're not a part of our network and you're watching this today and you're going to apply for a grant, please consider it. You can learn more about it right here on our website. And it is an educational network. There's a lot of opportunity for you to meet other orgs, to share ideas, and to get assistance from one another. So let's just jump right in and talk right about our grant program today. This is designed to fund urban forest projects and to engage new community-based organizations in tree planting activities within Southern California Edison's service area. So a big thank you today to Southern California Edison for being our partner and making this possible. There's going to be $50,000 in grant funding, and about 10 to 20 projects will be funded. You can apply from anywhere from $2,500 to $5,000, and we encourage you to design a project at the full $5,000 and to apply for it. These projects must be completed by May 31st of this year. And if you're planting after that, it's probably a little too warm anyway. So this grant is aligned with our planting season here in California. The grant timing is already open. So the application is live right now on our website, and they will be due on February 15th at about midnight. That's a Sunday night. So you have all through the weekend to work on your grant applications. And our eligible applicants really are nonprofits or community groups who are interested in tree planting. You can be new. That's okay. You don't have to be seasoned tree planters to apply for this. It's a small amount of funding for a small project with a quick turnaround. And if you're brand new to tree planting, we have all the resources you could possibly need to learn how to get this done. However, you must be a nonprofit to apply. So if you are not a 501c3 or if your 501c3 status is not in good standing with the California Attorney General's office, you can work through a fiscal sponsor, which is another 501c3 that is in good standing with that department who would sponsor you, meaning that they would accept the check for you, disperse it to you, sometime for a nominal fee, 10% or less. And they will help you to learn how to become in good standing with the Attorney General's office. So, if you have made it this far and you're an eligible entity, you need to be in an eligible location. So these projects must be in the Southern California Edison service area. And the way that you find out is get the utility bill from the address where you intend to plant. And if they don't have one from Edison, then you're not in the area. Making sure that you're in the right area is very important. We don't want you to waste your time if you are not eligible. You can plant on any kind of land, private property, federally recognized tribal lands, publicly owned land. What you're going to do is fill out a permission to plant form. So no matter where you're planting, the owner of the land or the manager of the land needs to sign a form saying that you have permission to plant there. And that's really important because you want to make sure that you're sharing the responsibility of maintaining these trees' health throughout their lifetime. The priority applicants would be applicants in low tree canopy communities, low income communities, communities formerly impacted by redlining or impacted by extreme weather events, drought, wildfire, flood, like that. We determine that here in-house as we're grading and awarding these projects by using these data mapping tools that are currently online. We would encourage you to learn how to use them as well if you don't already know how. Now, by using these tools, you can actually learn a lot more about your neighborhood than you might have known in the first place because they're going to show you your climate vulnerabilities. They're going to show you the demographics of your neighborhoods and how many trees you actually have currently. So Alex here is going to drop some links into the chat to help you find these resources. And if you need some help in learning how to use them, you can email me at any time. My email address is going to be presented to you at the end of this presentation. Here's some key points that we can talk about when it comes to this grant in particular. We need to make sure you're in the right place. We need to make sure that you have the resources that you need. A good way to make sure that you have those all the time is to join our network again. And the goal is to make trees fun and to celebrate California Arbor Week. So in California, we have California Arbor Day as well as California Arbor Week, an entire week dedicated to planting trees. Now, you can plant trees and you can care for trees. You can also have an educational program. You can have a tree celebration. You have to make sure that when you're planting these trees, you have a plan in your application for ongoing maintenance and watering beyond the grant period, because we want to make sure that these trees have a really high survival rate. So when you engage local partners like your schools, youth organizations, places of worship, maybe your city or county departments like your parks department, you're going to have a better chance at having those trees survive because you'll have more eyes on your trees and more volunteers to help you get them through their lives. So making sure that the benefits that the communities receive from those trees are understood is a very important part of tree planting. Things that you cannot do with this grant are to give away trees that you don't know where their planting locations will be. We're not giving away seedlings. We're planting larger trees of 5 or 15 gallon nature. We're making sure that your planting projects do not increase the urban heat island effect. And what that means when you're watching this later is that if you have a landscaping project that has a lot of rock that might hold in the heat during the day and put it back out into the environment at night, that is defeating the purpose of planting trees which have cooling properties. So making sure that your project is indeed creating the effects that we are looking for your communities. And we'll talk about those in a moment. We're going to prioritize projects that have trees in them as opposed to understory plantings, meaning the smaller plants that you would plant underneath the tree. If you have any questions during the application process before you apply as to what could be eligible, please reach out to me via email and I can let you know. So let's talk a little bit more about your community's needs because they should all be different from one another. Some of your community's needs that you want to solve by planting trees could be because of heat, because of lack of food access, because you want to improve air quality, or because you want to create a comfortable gathering space full of shade and clean air and accessible food. So let's start with extreme heat. If you are planting in a location because it's just too hot, we're going to help you to choose larger shade trees that have the ability to create and cast more shade than a smaller tree could. So we're going to help you to choose the best species to shade asphalt and cement. And we can also help you to choose how many feet to plant that species away from the asphalt and cement. If your community is looking for some healthy food access, planting fruit and nut trees is a fantastic grant application for this small grant. We're going to help you to make sure that that orchard that you're planting or set of fruit and nut trees can be easily accessed and harvested. So if you apply for fruit trees, please be advised that I will be asking you, do you have access to the property? When and how will the fruit be harvested? And we'll make sure that you're planting far enough away from existing trees and fences so that the community can easily access the fruit all around the trees. If you're looking to improve your air quality, certain species of trees sequester more carbon than others, as well as pollutants. So we're going to help you to choose the right species to help you clean your air. And if your community is maybe looking to gather with something more meaningful or commemorative, memorial trees are allowed with this grant. Where you gather, where you commune, we want you to be comfortable and shaded and have all of the benefits of these trees. So making sure that you're planning ahead. If you have any questions about planting, you can ask myself or Alex, who is an arborist here at California ReLeaf. He can give you that technical advice and I can help you with planning your project. I can help you to understand which community partners you should engage, what kind of pictures we're looking for, because we do need photographic evidence of this grant, how to reach out to your local elected officials, and we're going to ask you about them in your grant application. I can help you to understand how to recognize your sponsor, who is Edison, making sure that the community understands where the funding came from and that they can also apply for this grant. There will be a brief and very easy to complete final report to share your story. And so by good planning ahead and understanding now that you're going to need these elements in your final report, you'll be prepared to complete this very successfully. The key dates are repeated here again. The application window is open now, and it will close on February 15th at midnight. We will let the awardees know that they've been chosen on February 20th, give them the opportunity to accept the award. And then you'll have until May 31st of this year to complete your grant. After the work is completed, your final report will be due about a month later on June 12th. Now, the way that you receive your funding for this grant is half upfront and half when you're all done. So to make this accessible and to ensure that equity is at the forefront of everything we do at California Relief, we have received permission from our grantor being Edison and you being our grantees, to award you half of the money right up front so that you can purchase your supplies, purchase any sort of permitting or trees or tools that you need ahead of your event. And then the remaining 50% of your grant will be paid upon completion and approval of your final report. So if you do not complete your grant project before the end date, which is May 31st, you will not receive that second payment. So if you have any bumps along the way, making sure that you're reaching out to us so that we can help you is a good move. We want everyone to get paid and make sure that you can continue doing the great work that you're doing in your neighborhoods. Now, something that is really important to understand about this grant payment process is I am not collecting receipts. You do not have to turn in the receipts for the things that you purchase for this grant. We know that in advance, everything you're going to be purchasing, which could be from anywhere from trees to food to these wonderful t-shirts here for your org to show the work you're doing. It could be to boost a social media post so that you can gather more volunteers. It could be to print out a vinyl banner with the logos of your funders, your organization, and maybe the place that you're planting trees, like a name of a school. So however you want to spend the money is okay. We're going to talk about it as you're applying, and then from there, I will not be collecting any receipts. Technical assistance is here for you. So we have a rich history here at California Relief of being a resource provider as we are an educational network. So if you go through our website and find this link here, which is the Arbor Week grant page, you can find examples of former projects. You can find technical samples of where to plant trees, how far away to plant them from existing utility or cement or other trees. You can find species advice. You can find planting advice. You can actually find templates of banners to print out with the logos we're going to provide you. Any aspect of your project that you might need help with, you will find on our website. And if you need help navigating that, you can reach out to me at any time. My email address is here, grantadmin@californiarelief.org. And if you have any questions at all, I'm here and happy to answer them for you. Alex, is there anything you would like to add about this grant? Alrighty, I'm seeing a no. Wonderful. Okay, well then I think we'll stop the recording here and answer any questions that you might have. Thank you so much for watching, and I hope that you apply.